but she's a trap. She's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. What the fuck? The Straight Red Line? What? That wouldn't make any sense. This could be a slow night, but we felt for those of you who do show up, we should still show up. I know a lot of you still on vacation. I get it. You'll watch it later. And I have to answer this question because I've got it multiple times now. What instrument did I play on the album that you heard? All of them. All of them. Every single one of them. All of them.
The entire album?
Yep.
Oh,
except for one song. Kenny
you
played.
had a whole band there.
I do, but they only play for me live. I record and do all of. They're just there to play live. That's how it's always been in Brando.
Be like use a random person, John Mayer. You know, he does band, but he's got a backup band that he just brings in to play the songs.
Yeah, but he doesn't play all his instruments.
Sure enough, I guess it's a bit different there too.
He does bring in studio session people to do the bass, the guitar, and all that. That's not necessarily always something for me to brag about because, you know, I am not technically the greatest guitar player in the world, but that's okay. I got through it. I was much younger and I didn't have arthritis yet, so I didn't have that issue. The turd in the background says, "Welcome to TSRC. Watch the blow up doll video. I hope everyone had a great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. My wife got 8 dildos, each bigger than the other. Then for Christmas, she got a new boyfriend." Oh my goodness. Well, Michael, I'm sorry to hear about that. Did
she get one dildo for each day of Hanukkah, and then Christmas got the 8th dildo would be the new boyfriend?
That's a
Is
lot.
that how it worked out?
2 dildos for each holiday? I don't know about that. But, you know, each dildo could only be a millimeter larger than the other. And then that case, you know, she didn't go too crazy unless the first one started at 10 inches like Brett's wife does. All right. If you watch the cartoon, you will know the joke there. And yes, that was actually Brett's wife.
Yes.
Doing the part on the cartoon.
She asked me every day since she did the recording. She goes, "Is the video up yet? I can't wait to hear it." And then she listened to the video. She listened to the video and she goes, "Okay, send me the link. I'm going to send it to very specific people."
Well, that's why you were up my ass to get it done, because EB was up your ass.
Yeah. Hey, where's it at? I'll ask Derek next Thursday. I mean.
Because she spent a whole fucking 45 seconds doing that recording.
She's ready for her debut. Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I have to admit, to put that together only took me 3 hours. Wasn't too bad. It could have been worse. You made all the slides already. So it's just about me putting them in some sort of order.
It took me about 3 hours.
making sense somehow of the order and what we already talked about and what was going to happen in each scene. Luckily, we pre-recorded the actual porn store scene, so that I could just drop in there. But that doesn't necessarily make things easier, because then I got to time the slides, you know, with what we're talking about. You came in wearing a mask. You don't actually take the mask off, but then the next scene you don't have it on anymore, and then you have it on again at the end, which made perfect sense. But bitch, who told you to take off that mask?
I'm sitting there at work drawing these. I'm like, oh, I'm totally putting myself in a GIMP mask. Nice.
Yeah, no, well done. And I like that you had a membership to the store. That was really good. Oh, by the way, just to note,
free video after the 10th purchase.
That's right. just so you know, there is a great little page out there if you're a lover of music, and it's done by, I've talked about her before. Her page is called Virgin Rock. Now, she looks like a virgin, but I just found, I'm sorry, she talks like one too. But no, she's not like horribly ugly.
You're saying that she can pluck your harp strings, is that right?
No, not that either. But I'm not calling her ugly. I'm just saying the way she behaves is very like someone who's lived in a lot of isolation in a very proper family, where you would guess she's not married because she's not a real looker, but then she's also kind of fun. So I guess she is married and she's got 3 kids. She's married to a guy named Vlad. Wow. I mean, for all we know, Vlad's got a big one and she's having a really good time.
That's why his nickname is Vlad the Impaler. Hey-o.
Oh, yeah. But anyhow, watch her show. It's a blast. She just did a review. She's in the middle of doing a review of Pink Floyd's The Wall, which is totally phenomenal. She's watched the movie. Now she's going through each of the songs, and she's a classically trained musician. So she plays the harp, right? So she's breaking all these songs down. She's comparing certain parts to all these, these classical writers from like the 1880s that I have never heard of in my life. And so it's been sort of an education for me. But 3 kids, if you would have told me she had 3 kids. But then again, I see a lot of ugly people at Walmart and they have lots of kids. So it's not, and I'm not calling her ugly, by the way. I'm not calling her ugly.
Homely.
I would call her a homely. That's a really good word. Thank you, Brett. You just saved my ass because I want her to like me because I like her. All right.
If she happens to catch this video particularly, she's probably not gonna like you.
Probably not.
Dude, I can't believe she's had sex at least 3 times. She's homely looking.
I can't believe she's had sex at least 3 times. No, I mean, listen.
And she hasn't even called me once.
I don't think she's unattractive. Like on a certain night, after a certain number of whatever's, I mean, if she's very entertaining.
A nice Kroger paper bag, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be okay with looking at her. Hell, I'm not much to look at anymore. So what the fuck? I mean, I'd be kind of that'd be rather unself-aware of me.
Paper bag may have actually been for her to use on you.
Oh, well, that's probably true. All right. So anyhow, but she was talking about her favorite color today, or her most unfavorite color. I've never even thought of that as a concept, to have a least favorite color. And hers was orange, which I found really weird.
What?
Orange is really a great color.
It's a phenomenal color.
I've never heard of this most least favorite color. Like, anybody have enough time to sit around going, the color I really don't like is puke green. Okay, that's
fair enough on the puke green aspect. Yeah, I guess if we start breaking down into like the Sherman-Williams paint sample colors, I'm sure we'll find something.
You're not going to find that
green
color.
The same as this green? Is the same as this green? No.
Vomit brown?
You'd be surprised, man. They start running out of names and they have to get creative with some of that shit.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to use vomit brown and
be like
puke green. I don't think those are coming up at all.
You should hear some of the names. Again, you should hear some of the names that when we go paint sampling. Yes, happens. But we have to go paint sampling.
I've done it. Fuck. I wasn't born in
I don't know why I go because I don't get to choose.
I know you don't. The guys just are along for the ride. Like all the rooms are painted.
I might get an accent wall. Yeah. And guess what? We're doing burnt orange on that accent one.
I doubt you get that much say. It's like shopping for anything. Furniture, fucking paint. It doesn't matter. What she wants is what she gets. That even came with the cars that I bought. Who got the Lexus? She got the Lexus. Fucking A. I had to drive that fucking Ford to work every day. So,
yeah.
And then she didn't, at a certain point, she didn't even have a fucking job. So what does she need the fucking Lexus for?
So it's funny because it was similar with our cars too. We're going to get a new car, and we're going to turn in her old. She had an old Toyota Camry, which was still rocking it, but we decided to turn it in and get a new car. And she really wanted to get the Toyota Highlander that we have. Yeah, and she likes the big SUV cars, as most girls do.
Sure.
And I'm driving our current Civic, which ended up getting totaled eventually. Not Evie's fault, by the way. She got T-boned coming down here, Little Chicago, actually. The neighborhood just south of our neighborhood. A 17-year-old girl trying to go to probably Noblesville High School for school and everything, like sped out trying to get past one lane, went to turn, but ended up T-boning her on Little Chicago. And
one of the circles, maybe? Circle? On one of the circles?
No,
just straight on Little Chicago, which is a straight
on road. Yeah. This girl's turning left out onto Little Chicago, and I'm guessing she tried to beat somebody that was coming southbound. Yeah. Evie's going northbound, and she sped through and ended up T-boning her.
Sounds like a dumb bitch, but I've met a lot of
16, 17 years old. So yeah, I remember my first car.
I mean that there are a lot of unsafe drivers out there who, at the slightest, like, they're so distracted. How many people have their fucking noses buried in their phones while they're driving now? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
That car got totaled. There's only 60,000 miles in that car. We were like 5,000 from paying it off.
Yeah.
Gonna be happy. No car payment. She totaled it.
Right.
Not Evie. The girl totaled it. And we got 11 grand. So again, like 6 of that went to paying off the totaled car.
Yeah.
And we're left with like 5,000-6,000 or whatever it was. So we got to go buy a new car. That's the Prius I have now. I'm like, let's get a Prius. Great gas mileage. I hate paying for gas. We drive up to Michigan all the time. And we get the Prius. And then all of a sudden, Evie wants to drive the Prius. And I get stuck with the Highlander. I was like, no, what happened here?
Yeah, on occasion I got to use the Lexus.
I'm the one that drives right now, so I get the Prius now.
But, should use arguments like, well, I can't, when I go grocery shopping, I can't fit everything inside that tiny Ford. Okay, fine. All right, whatever. All right, so, we do have some soccer topics to talk about today, believe it or not, because I don't know how many of you watched that Norwich game, but fucking A.
Oh, we're going to jump right into the Norwich game, huh?
Let's just go straight to it because, listen, it's the last thing I watched today, and soccer-wise, and I mean, I have never seen such an incompetent midfield and wide players than I've ever seen in Norwich. They 100%. Are fucking awful. I mean, the forwards barely get to touch the ball. They're playing defense most of the time. It's just they're an awful team, and I cannot believe they're still in the top 6 because they're fucking awful. They're really bad.
They're definitely, hence the title of this show, they're definitely in a slump. 2 wins in the last 5 games, 3 losses. And it's funny if you watch Sargent playing, I'm really I'm going to continue leaning into it that he's one of their best players.
Yeah,
and they need to start relying on him more so than Pookie. But it wasn't even Pookie's fault. He got the goal, of course, but it wasn't even his fault in this match because Pookie and Sargent had to keep checking back into the middle with their back to the goal, receive the ball, and then look to distribute out wide. It's very Berhalter-esque, if you will, the way that the nines were playing there. And it's just once the balls got out wide, whether it was Aaron's or whoever the fuck was on the left, they just sat there and danced on the ball and then threw up some crap shit.
Yeah, and
that's the game.
Look at the last goal they gave up. Okay, that made it, a win for the other team. Who was playing defense? Who was right behind the guy who scored? It's Josh Sargent. What's he doing there? He's playing striker. What the fuck is he doing playing up there? Now I know they moved to a 3 up top in the second half to Norwich, but still, he was an attacker.
Is that when they brought Ida in?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought Ida was playing farther back too. I saw him mostly in the midfield.
And it looked like they were playing at some points on offense. They were going Pookie Ida with Josh Sargent playing in sort of a center attacking midfield role right behind them, which was interesting. I like that he's trying things because they started in a 4-4-2 with Pookie and Sargent up top, which is what I like. But they could never get the ball to Pookie and Sargent. So it was a waste of fucking the whole first half. I might as well fucking, I don't know, made a taco salad or something and just skipped it.
And I was verifying when I came up with the title for this, dipping out of promotion playoff, that they were still in 6th, and that was in fact the limit of the playoff. And I'm like, people will be like, "Oh no, they're fine. They're still in the playoffs. They're okay." But I'm like, as Jackie brings up here, There's just 3 points between 5th and 16th.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 16th. I know it's at least to like 12th or something like that.
It's close. It's really
like,
jammed up.
You're going from promotion playoff to like lower mid-table. And there's like that quick of a drop. I mean, one more game, and you could see that happen.
Yeah. So, I don't have high hopes for Norwich getting out of the championship.
Game winner with a man down. Yeah.
Based on the way they're playing right now. And what is really horrible about it is this is generally, for the most part, the same team that played last year in the Premiership when they were the worst team in the Premiership. Now they're looking like a mid-table fucking championship team. So they better figure something out. I don't know if you get rid of Dean as the manager, but something's got to change because this has been a consistent theme for games in a row now.
Yeah.
And
Jackie does say that between Norwich is at 35, Reading is at 32 and 16th. So there you go. I guess rest. I guess maybe when I looked at it earlier, the rest of the championship hasn't finished playing their games at that point. And that's possible. That all the final games and the points got tallied up, but
it's packed.
That's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's funny when we talk about Norwich, and we talked about them obviously all last season. They were like our Leeds at that point. Like we're the underdogs. Come on, Norwich, But
yeah, I am a Leeds fan now.
Yeah.
So even though I watched Fulham today and was happy for Ream and Robinson, who both played fairly well. Ream was fantastic.
Ream got their second goal?
Yeah. Now I know why some people are saying some of these managers from the other teams are saying things like, if Ream were 25 instead of 35, he would be playing for fucking Liverpool, Manchester United, or Arsenal right now, because that's how good he's become. It just took him that long to become that good and realize what his shortcomings were. Now that he knows really knows his shortcomings, he's focused in the last 2 or 3 years so much on predicting what's happening in front of him and knowing exactly when to commit and when to fall back. I mean, he fell back on one play today and saved a goal, essentially, and then fucking yelled at everybody in front of him who lost the ball, including Robinson, who didn't get back, that made him have to go one-on-one, basically, with a guy who's about twice as fast as him. But he's just a smart motherfucker, man, and I'm so happy for him. Scored a goal. I am so happy for Tim Ream.
Well, Fulham are in 8th place right now at 22 points. So they're 4 points outside of Europa.
Yep.
So
they're not going to make it, but that's okay. They're not going.
One could hope, Derek. The one good thing about that, though, is that we know that they're very, 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 very unlikely to go down.
No, they're not. I mean, when you got guys playing like the way Mitrovic are playing, the way that midfield links up, how great they fucking looked that whole game, except for like 1 10-minute span. But the whole first half, they dominated that game. They just look so fucking confident right now. And I really think this is, if they could find a few more pieces here and there, they need to find another right back, maybe backup to Robinson, since they loaned Brian out. I don't know what's going on there, because they seem to be competing for a job about a year ago, but yes, Robinson's won that out, which is great. But clearly, this is a competent team that loves playing with each other. They love each other. You can tell it's kind of like the old school family Fulham, where, you had it just seemed like the team was tight-knit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not made up of any fucking freaks or superstars, so nobody needs attention, right?
Yeah.
So it's just fun watching a team that's that competent and fights that hard. And then you go to Leeds and you're looking at tomorrow's game against Man City and you're thinking, it could be ugly.
Not tomorrow. It's Wednesday.
I mean, Wednesday. Yeah. It could be ugly, but here's what I will say. Jesse's teams have performed better against better teams this season. Arsenal, Liverpool.
When the teams take it to Leeds, tried to take it to Leeds at least.
Yeah.
It opens it up so that way Leeds attack can flourish. Now the teams that play Leeds ball against them are the teams they are flustered against.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Man City handles this. and of course the superior one, the manager, and whether or not he's like, oh, I don't care. It's fucking Leeds. We're going to go out and play our game. We're going to attack them. Yes, Tyler Adams' red card is still on. He won't be able to play against Man City, which Jesse lamented today in the interview.
Who came in from the last time he didn't play? Was it Greenwood?
Greenwood, but I think
Greenwood. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think they're going to bring somebody else. Forshaw will probably start in his place because Forshaw is an actual midfielder, whereas Greenwood is not. He's a forward who just filled in on because I believe Forshaw was still injured at the time, so there were no other there are literally between the two holding midfielders on Leeds. There are no backups, like legit class backups, like Forshaw. That's what you're going to give me.
We have they have no left back backups, so they threw a center back there.
Struck's doing great, but what happens if Struck goes down with an injury? You're going to play the Brazilian guy who sucks, and it sucked every time I've seen him play for the last 2 years. So I mean, not impressed. Now Aronson will start, so that's good. But without Adams, this is going to be a real struggle against Man City. The reason Roca and Adams can do what they do is they complement each other, but they are always covering the other one's weak space or blank space behind. So there's never an avenue to cheat or get around them, in an easy, straightforward manner. It's always got to go sideways. So we'll see what happens. I really hope the Leeds fans go easy on Marsh. I hope they realize A, they're playing Man City, B, they're fucking playing without Tyler Adams, who's been their best performer all season. So there's that. Oh, did you see the guys, Heath and Jimmy? They did a whole spiel on whether or not Berhalter should come back, and of course their reasoning was, he shouldn't come back because nobody should be the manager past 4 years, which is fine. It is a little bit of a cop-out.
Picking up more and more of the pundits. They're all joining my club.
Yeah, but you can...
One cycle.
You're not saying that so you don't have to avoid criticizing Berhalter, which is what Lawless...
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what Lawless does. That's what I'm thinking. Yes. Because they admitted at the beginning of the show they were going to have to take this topic in a very tender way, right? They're going to have to treat it tenderly. Fuck it, then don't talk about it. I mean, if you're going to treat it tenderly, then don't bother, guys. Yeah. And then they were busting on Charlie's balls the whole thing because they said he was too afraid to come on and answer the people's questions. And I find that hard to believe. I think Charlie's been the one on the regular who cuts it loose. Jimmy does too on occasion. I think he's probably the nicest of them all. But I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to do a show about whether Berhalter should go or not, it shouldn't be, he's progressed us forward. I think, he did a really good job. I give him a B-, but I give him bonus points because he's really good. His shoes are nice, so it moves him up to a B. So he's really progressed us forward, but I don't think...
All the bounce passes.
We need a new voice going forward. So we need a new voice. I don't think he can take them much further than this. So, that could be one reason, but there could be other reasons, and I think Jimmy did bring this up, like the fact that he went behind the whole team's back and talked about Reina in front of the immoral conference, the immoral leadership conference. I just think that that's a bad thing to do. Well, I mean, Jimmy did bring it up, but nobody's mentioning that as a real cue for why
how to treat your peasants. I mean, employees.
Yeah,
conference.
Exactly. How to treat those suckers. I mean, my employees at Walmart.
When you own 40 serfs, employees. You don't own them, but they work for you.
Right.
Right.
Might as well own them though. I know it's called work, but in some places it doesn't look like a whole lot of work's going on. And
then the government takes the money from us. No.
I'm not going there.
You're not going there. Try to bait him, guys. Try to bait him.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about taxes now?
No, I really don't want to talk about taxes.
No. I'm not talking about taxes. What the fuck?
Taxes.
All right. Taxes? Look
We're talking about taxes.
I have an accountant. I don't worry about my taxes. I say, here, you do that shit.
I do not have a lot of income to expedite or whatever costs that going out that I cannot not do my taxes on TurboTax.
Yeah, but here's why I don't know a lot about some of the tax questions you've asked me. I don't do my taxes. I have an accountant who does my taxes. So I guess I could call my accountant and say, hey, this whole YouTube thing, what do we got to do? She's going to say, spend it all before April.
Well, not all. We got to spend all that we earned this year.
Yes, but we can't. We don't have time. We ran out of time.
Oh, well, no, because here's the thing, though, because when doing my taxes last year, I found out that I can start throwing in cost because how do I watch all my content?
Through some sort of
I stream it. I pay for it somewhere.
Right. All that.
So I'm writing that
right off. Yeah. It's part of your job.
My office is part of my home. So
we are a registered business. We do have a bank account. So it all counts. Like this is a business, what we're doing here. Although we don't do it like a business because we're just having fun.
Quite frankly, the amount of money we earned last year, I didn't have to come up with that many write-offs.
Right, exactly.
To meet up with the taxes that would have accrued from that.
But at some point, we need to go out and buy new mics, new everything, high fucking power computer systems, etc., and not just buy editing software. Anyhow, that's a fucking for another day. But I did get a message, by the way, from Filippo, and he really loved the part on the turdies where Breck Shea was predicted to be most likely to have herpes. Yeah. He loved that. He texted me. He's fucking laughing his ass off watching that. So that's good. At least somebody enjoyed the herpes section.
I would have loved to have seen like a reaction video to watching the turdies. I mean, I understand that it would have still been like an hour and 45 minutes for whoever did the reaction there, but it would have been great to see Tex his earnest reaction for seeing the goat get herpes.
The goat. I was kind of sick of that joke for a while, but now it has new relevance. But I will read exactly what he said here.
Derek, please don't read this on the air. This is what I thought about the turdies.
He said, Breck Shea has herpes. Crying, laughing face, crying, laughing face, crying, laughing face. I died laughing, he said. All right, so there you go. Now, I want to be clear. That is not exactly what we said. We said he was the most likely to have herpes. We did not say he had herpes because I don't need a Breck Shea lawsuit on my hands, folks. All right? So, Breck Shea.
We only say the facts. Like, we know that Meow's going to kick Berhalter's dog. Allegedly.
I'm just saying there's a 50-50 chance that Breck Shea has herpes, and I don't know the answer. Right? Okay. I'm agnostic on whether the fact that Breck Shea has herpes. All right, can you write off Pornhub Premium? I don't know, but why do you need premium? There's so much shit on Pornhub. I mean, what are you missing? What are you missing out on? Because eventually the premium shit ends up on the basic shit, right?
It gets a little sticky of a situation because Derek has to pay for Pornhub Premium, but also has to pay taxes for his OnlyFans income. So.
No, I don't. I mean, how much porn does one need? Seriously. I mean, you got Spank Tube or Spank Bang, and you got fucking Porn Tube and X Hamster. And like, if you can't find something to jerk off to within just those, then
it's for the 4K videos, Derek. Jose doesn't want the 1990s Skinamax, blurry, digitized, not digitized, but it's like the snow screen. You're like, oh, that was a boob. That was a boob.
I get it, but like, how big of a screen do you need? Like, till they're life size, or till they're big?
Practically virtual reality. Look at that.
I mean, I always wondered about in the old days when they used to have porn in theaters. Like watching porn in a theater seems weird because the bodies on the screen are so gigantic and it's hard to find a proportional understanding of what's really going on. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not difficult, but I've never sat with Pee Wee Herman in a movie theater and watched a porn.
Fair enough on that one, yeah.
I
think most people have not.
I think that the regular version of the quality on most of those platforms, those porn platforms, the quality is quite good. I mean, X-Hamster is not so good because it has a lot of those people putting in like the old movies from the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. Yeah, of course. It's off of VHS. Quality's not going to be that great. But I mean, can't you live with that? Just squint a little. I mean, just squint a little and you won't notice the difference. Talk soccer, please. We don't have a lot of soccer to talk about.
Stop it. Talk soccer. I feel you, man. I feel you. We got to get sidetracked from time to time. We do have some fun topics.
We got Leeds. We got Fulham in. What else we got, Brett?
We got this.
Oh, nice. And we also got Norwich in. U.S. men's national team, Ataku. Everton fans voted on which players they want to feature on the corner flags in their match earlier today versus Wolverhampton. Tim Howard was one of the players featured on the corner flags.
Well, that's cool.
That's very nice. That's like when they named a bar after McBride.
After McBride, yeah.
Near the stadium.
That's still up and operational?
Yeah. That's when Dempsey was named Player of the Decade for Fulham. You know, that's just showing people cared.
Yeah.
And they didn't, like we always talk about, oh, there's this American bias, not for the fans. Like if you go over there and you kick some ass, you'll win the fans over. Think about all of the favorite players, like Eddie Lewis was like always the most player of the year for Leeds when he was there. Always. So, you know, who's Jay Demerit. Jay Demerit, always player of the season or defender of the season for Watford while he was there. So it wasn't really about the American thing. Dempsey was loved. McBride was loved. So maybe it's just more the punditry or the soccer snobs, the snobbery, because a lot of the teams they play with, those aren't the Arsenals of the world.
I was gonna say you're also talking about lower to mid table teams consistently.
Yep. I think working class people are more likely to open their arms. Not that there aren't working class fans of Arsenal, but let's face it, there are a lot of posh people that are Arsenal fans in
good use London. Of English terminology there.
Posh. My veterinarian was an Arsenal fan, my old one.
Yeah.
In Bloomington. And I mean, I predicted it by her accent alone. I said, "You're an Arsenal fan." She's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I'm like, "You sound kind of posh." She's like, "Oh, you know," I was kidding with her. Anyhow, we didn't hook up. All right.
Not that time.
It was a dog thing. So
lots of doggy style.
I wish, actually.
So, Derek, it turns out that even our good friend Tactical gets sidelined during the holiday season. Instead of watching soccer, he's a big holiday Christmas movie watcher. But you didn't know that about him, did you?
No. How'd you find out about this?
Well, he posts it. He posts how he watches Die Hard weekly.
Okay, well, that's different. It is a holiday movie, but it's not really.
You got to read it first.
Tactical is a Bruce Willis fan. Die Hard. Watches every week. Casual. Follows along on watches a few games when possible, not a priority. Follow for some players. Some just follow for stars and young prospects. Also, share so we get a good sample size.
He's not talking about Die Hard, although I think he kind of is.
Oh,
he's got a little poll going on here. So Derek,
man,
where do you stand in regards of MLS?
I mean, that's a real jump from diehard fan to casual.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know many people that just follow MLS just to watch for certain players either.
No,
I mean, there are some out there. I know that for a fact.
I would call myself between diehard and casual. I would say I am a regular watcher of MLS.
Description follows along and watches a few games when possible, not a priority.
No, I watch a lot more than a few fucking games. Christ almighty. If it's on TV, I'm watching it. Now, it's not going to be on TV anymore, except for here and there. So, fuck them. Fuck their goddamn bullshit with who's the jackasser they're doing this with?
Apple,
iTunes, or whatever. Yeah, fuck them. That's the stupidest thing.
Don't worry, Derek. We're gonna pay for it, and it's gonna be a tax write-off.
I know, and then we'll watch it on our little, connections here. But I really don't want to. I think it's a disgustingly horrible move. I think it fucks over all the people that have been covering all of those teams in all of those different cities, and now they're just going to have these regional bozos they hire to call the games, and they're all going to be hired by MLS. So you know what that means? They're going to be gargling fucking Garber's fucking ball sack while they call the game, which makes for a very poorly called game, by the way, because you can't understand a fucking word they're saying, and most of it's bullshit anyhow, like Lala said in our cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, my take on the whole Apple thing hasn't changed. It's taking it away from being readily available. When I say readily available, it's been on ESPN Plus, which is a service you still have to pay for. But right. I feel like the vast majority of people probably have that are sports watchers have ESPN Plus for one reason or another.
Yeah, we got it.
You just did the Disney bundle and got the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu all together. But going out and saying, well, now you have to spend another $13 or whatever the fuck it is to get Apple. But you get all of the MLS content that's behind the scenes, all of the commentators, specials afterwards. They talk about the league. And you also get to watch all the MLS Next Pros.
That's
and
what I'm there for.
Some of the MLS Next tournaments too, Derek.
MLS Next Pro. That's a really great idea. Let's just have the children play against the children now. What a fucking fabulous idea. Instead of that time where the children had to play grown men that were playing in USL teams, now they're just going to go back to playing each other. That's so good. It's smart idea.
It used to be, you want to learn how to swim? You kick the kid off into the deep end, sink or swim. Now it's you kick the kid off, they fall into the kid pool, and they're like ankle deep water. That's what it's like now.
If when I played tennis, which I started when I was in third grade, and I was the best tennis player in third grade, had I continued to fucking play only third graders the rest of my life, I would have been the best fucking third grade tennis player at the age of 25 you would ever met. But that's not what you do. You play better opponents to get better. That's the only way to do it. So if you got a bunch of kids jerking off here and they're jerking off there, it's a bunch of fucking kids jerking off. It's a total. You're not getting nobody's
taking
learning.
Out of context, Derek. Come on, watch out.
I get it. What I'm saying is, if you want to learn something, you got to learn it going against people who are bigger, older, smarter, wiser than you. So you can learn from them.
I could so see you doing the McElroy thing where he does the spike and then he jumps up on top of the net itself and then over to the other side. Yeah. And then whatever the official calls it out and you take your racket and smack it on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
This is horse shit.
I was quite a McEnroe character. I will admit my behavior on court was less than optimal. And I didn't really grow up and figure that out until I was a senior in high school. And even that was not good.
I love seeing the chat catch up to the conversation, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, calm it.
Calm it.
Yeah. Jesus, don't bring my comment back. Derek. LOL.
What? I don't get it. I don't follow the chat.
You have kids jerking off here, kids jerking off there.
Well, I meant that in a metaphoric way. And that's what they're going to be doing, wasting their time.
Oh, no.
They're just going to be spinning wheels. Maybe I should have used that metaphor instead of jerking off. All right. But yeah, they're going to spinning their wheels playing other kiddos. And this, of course, helps screw over the USL in the process. Yeah, in a way it can and might. And I don't know. I mean, I'll have to calculate that, but it might be in the end better for USL. That
you have to remember though. MLS Next Pro is not just stopping where they're at now. Next year they've got another 5 MLS teams coming in, but they're also bringing in non-MLS teams. And I honestly think they're looking to squash the markets of USL in the end.
Yeah. Yep. I wonder what the buy-in fee is going to be to join MLS Next Pro.
Well, USL sitting on what, like a 20 million fee or whatever it is?
It ain't
Something
much.
Like
I can almost afford it.
10, 15, whatever it is. Yeah. With all your Brando royalties.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say that the bar that I would vote for on this tweet doesn't exist. So I'm going to have to pass on it.
Yeah. Sorry, Tex. You can't participate in this. Nothing describes us.
Yeah. We are not diehard, but we're not casual either.
Watches every week. I guess. I mean, I don't watch. I don't watch Chicago every week because there's gonna be games I'm gonna miss. Shit happens.
Yeah, but if
life sucks,
if you can't catch Chicago, there's another game on, usually on Fox or ESPN. I'll watch it. I mean, if you count watching it, having it on the screen while I diddly do on my laptop. You thought I was going to say my penis, but no, my laptop.
The way it's been going, Derek, you never know. Arnold is arguing against this is going to screw over USL because he disagrees because USL will still be on TV.
They'll still be on local markets, whereas MLS has just killed that off.
Oh no, I selected casual fan by accident.
Oh well,
man, my night's ruined.
Brett, you fuck up. All right. What else we got?
All right.
Yes, it sucks. We're losing a bright young talent like Carrizo. No, Pete, you haven't lost dick yet. Calm down. But the fact that major world powers are not only scouting, but calling up MLS Academy kids speaks to the improved development standards. Yes, Pete says nice things about MLS Academies. And MLS.
What an MLS hater. I've never seen anybody hate on MLS as much as Pete is right now.
I know. He's such a hater. This is going to happen more and more. Yes, it will. We'll win some and lose some. I mean, listen.
That's the truest statement I've seen when it comes to this topic right now.
That's true, but he's 14 years old. Give him some fucking breathing room.
Wait for it, Jose. I do have the comments. We'll talk about that.
Thank you, Jose, for the $1.99. I think it's too soon to panic about this, folks.
So here you go. This is the tweet.
He's Argentinian. What is the chance he becomes so good he can play for the Argentinian national team? It's small.
Question,
small.
Derek. Is mind you, he's not filing a one-time switch right now, but is this the equivalent of the hysteria that we saw with Jonathan Gonzalez?
Of course it is. And it's not necessary. Everyone should calm down. This kid who you think is going to be a superstar, you know how often we have said that? I have said that in 30 years. A lot. Well, failure. I could list the number of failures. They're in the hundreds. The number of successes I could give you on my hands and my fingers and toes. Seriously.
So I guess the way to consider another thing to consider here is that while he may not necessarily pan out to be a star for Argentina, he could still, in fact, be a star for the United States.
Yes.
So
he certainly could.
Okay, so his name is Maximo Carrizo.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I said that accurately. And he's the youngest player in MLS history to turn professional.
I get it.
Dangerous. We're hearing this again.
I mean,
he's 14 years old. Although that's a hair split there. There's been a number of 14-year-olds signed and turned professional for MLS teams at this point, hasn't there?
14 and 15, and there ain't that much big of a difference.
Nah.
A few weeks ago, he was summoned to the sub-17 Argentina. Yes, with 14 years.
This is translated, so
yeah.
Accept what it is.
Again, I'm just saying, listen, I would not worry about this yet. I just don't think you should. No one should. And no, it's not even sad. He's not cap-tied. He can play all kinds of fucking games for us. He can flip-flop back and forth. We had a number of players do that over time. Just think about oh shit. Who's the kid playing on Rangers with Sands? The Tillman. Just think of the Tillman brothers. They flip-flop back and forth. You can do that now. All right.
Well, and as I always say, and we always have the same. We always say the same thing when it comes to this argument. The players have just got to decide what best suits them, and the players are going to look at it at a variety of different reasons of why they select one or the other. At the youth level, at this point, we have it with a bunch of our Mexican American players. There'll be camps where they'll be playing for the like the U17 Mexican national team, and then they'll do a camp with the U17 U.S. national team. They got to find out what's right for them.
Yep.
If he goes down to Argentina and he balls and he kills it, and he ends up starring for Argentina late in the future, props to him. I mean, he made the right decision in his future.
I don't know if I'll be alive when that happens, but if I am, I would eat crow, and I'd be fine with it. But you know what? We haven't been wrong. The only thing I've been wrong about my whole time in picking players is I got way too excited about Gideon Zalalem. Way too excited. All right. And that was many years ago. And I was wrong. And I had to eat crow. But was it injury? He's also talked about the mental distress that he had trying to get over that injury. And now he's at NYCFC, and he doesn't play that much. Don't get your hopes up. You already saw what happened with Gio Reyna.
So, and then the only reason I bring that up.
Hold on now.
The only reason I bring this up is because his dad responds. This is his dad. And he says, "It's not going to happen. I tell you."
This
is what Jose wanted us to bring up. Is his dad's comments?
It's not going to happen. What's not going to happen?
I guess the whole Reyna situation. Now. A lot of people are looking at it and saying, like, the whole Reyna situation, meaning that what the fuck's his name? I already forgot it. Maximo. Maximo is not going to play for the United States the way that everybody's reading into this.
I wouldn't read into shit because that is the most meaningless, fucking nonsensical, non-directed, non-focused answer or statement I have ever seen. It's not going to happen. What is it, Augusto? What the fuck is it? What's it? What's the it's you're talking about?
What happened to Gio Reyna? That's the it's.
What? Gio Reyna is the son of the U.S. men's national team former fucking captain. Of course he's not going to play for Argentina. He had never any intention for playing. Okay, but I guess Augusta should shut the fuck up because I'm sure he thinks his son is a glorious superstar already. But by the way, he's got a long ways to go.
That's an interesting thing to bring up is the fact that Reyna had the option, I guess you could say.
It was never an option. Come on.
I'm just saying the cards fell into his corner that he could have and work for it. But everybody's looking at this saying the way that everybody is looking at this is saying, well, look at what's happened to Gio with the United States, and his dad saying that's not going to happen to him, basically.
They're completely.
Everybody's reading into it.
Did Augusto Carrizo play for the United States men's national team? Last I checked, no. Last I checked, he did not. So this is comparing apples to fucking plums. Shit out of your ass that you jammed up there. These are not comparable things.
Again,
one's a superstar, who's son of a United States men's superstar, and Augusto, I don't know what he does. Maybe he's a farmer. Maybe I don't know what his fucking profession is, but I guarantee you it is not former U.S. men's national team captain. So don't even worry about comparing these two. They're not comparable.
Again, Derek. This is you're the only one I've ever seen in this entire conversation that's taken that way, and I actually like the way you're taking it because it's a different viewpoint. You're reading into it differently. Everybody's reading into this saying, "Look what happened to Gio Reyna with the U.S. national team." That's what they're reading into this. And he's saying that's not going to happen. Most people reading into that saying he's not going to play for the United States national team.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the situation of Reyna having the ability to play for Argentina or whatever. It was the fact that this isolated incident that happened in the United States national team, and Augusto saying doesn't matter. He's not going to play for the U.S. national team.
You know what he could be saying is that Reyna wasn't faced with the same questions and the same decisions, because we already knew who he was going to play for. Maybe saying, well, that's not going to happen here. Maybe my kid's going to have to make a decision between one or the other. Whereas that decision was easy to fucking.
It is also possible
easy.
He's simply saying that my son wouldn't make the same mistake that Gio did with Berhalter at the World Cup.
Well, now you're taking a leap of faith. That's beyond what I can.
Be kicking stones in the corner.
I mean, I'm stoned, but I can't follow it down that fucking trail. So yeah, we just did see his dad's comments, and I don't know what to make of them, honestly, Jose. But I really don't think whether or not his dad says this or not, his dad has nothing to do with the future. Well, not in the professional future of the player. That's going to be up to the player and how he develops as a youngster. And it's going to, his circumstances may change, and he may want to leave. Most players say they'd like to leave all doors open. That's what most of them say. I mean, you just don't hear anybody shut the door. So I'd be surprised if this is like he's shutting the door on USA.
And it's one of those situations. Argentina comes to knocking. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who's going to turn that down.
Right. He's going to go.
He's going to fuck on people.
Even if it's just for the challenge and the experience and the challenge of playing better youth players with.
Yeah, this is the situation with with Rossi, where Rossi was like, every time I went over to Italy, I never felt more American, but when I'm in America, I never feel more Italian. So it's possible maybe he even goes there, does the camp, and like, I really didn't feel it there. I didn't really like it, Yeah, it's all possible, and that's the one thing I like about Greg and his approach to the youth duels is like, hey, go to the Mexico camp, and I'm using the Mexican Americans as a prime example because that's predominantly who we have to deal with when it comes to dual nationals. But go to the Mexican camp. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I mean, we're still trying to call you in. We're still giving you chances. It is what it is.
That's why I'm saying don't panic, folks. It's going to be all right. Either way, it's going to be all right.
Yeah,
I'm not saying people out there are panicking that watch the show. I'm just saying there are other people who are, and saying that. Sorry, Pete, but you can't say, like, the way you put it was like all hope is lost, but it's not. It's not even close to being lost. There is so much shit that's going to happen in the next, 5 years of that kid's life that's going to change everything for him. Maybe even the next 7 years. Maybe it even takes him 10 years to get where he wants to go. Some guys blossom at their early 20s. So,
yeah.
All right. So no worries there. No worries. Don't let anybody worry about Carrizo. We're fine there.
Well, like I always say, if he chooses Argentina over US, he chooses Argentina over US. I'm sure it sucks, and we probably could use him at some point. We'd be all the much better for him, just like we would have been if Rossi chose US over Italy. It is what it is. And guess what? We're going to have so many dual nats in the future that we're going to have the same argument with all the time. It's going to happen.
And some of them aren't going to turn out. Okay?
Most of them aren't.
I know everybody was a big fan of Conrad de la Fuente. Well, I mean, a few times I saw him, I think I told Brett a year and a half ago, I don't think much is coming out of this guy. I don't think he's got it. And I ended up being right so far. But I think my so far is going to stick. Kid is pretty talented. Yes,
not doubting that.
There are a lot of kids at 14 who blow your fucking mind. And then shit happens. Life happens.
That especially for the U.S. players, because we don't have an abundance of the talented players coming through the woodwork. Well, we do, actually. They're starting to come through more and more now. But at least in the past, you'd have like a U17 team where we're like, we're all putting all of our hopes in these players, and then they go to Europe, and then all of a sudden they're the next Sotos.
They all sucked. Yeah. And that happened to us a lot. We had a lot of players
all the time,
especially off that Freddie Adu team, youth team.
Freddie Adu was ahead of his time.
Yeah, they, a lot of them went off to Europe, and they all came back with their fucking tails stuck between their legs. So don't panic. It's not a big deal. People were talking about, is Danny Zetela going to go play for another country? Danny Zetela? Really? And I think it was I
think Jonathan Gonzalez is the best example here. Absolutely is. People were shitting their pants when he made the one-time switch over to Mexico.
It's not a one-time switch.
He made the one-time switch. Yes.
Oh, Jonathan Gomez.
Yes.
Not
No, Gonzalez. Not Gomez.
Jonathan Gonzalez. I was thinking Gomez. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody shit their drawers.
Everybody shit their pants.
The only reason I shit my drawers, and I didn't really, was because what's his dumb fuck? The guy who was responsible lied about the Dutch American guy lied about, and I always forget his name, and I'm fine with forgetting his name because he's a moron. But he lied about.
It wasn't Ramos. Who was it? It was
no. It's not Ramos.
No. I'm putting all my youth coaches together here. I'm spacing you. I can't think of it.
There's only one major moron. We all know who he is, and he's Dutch American. And he was the scout who lied about talking to Jonathan Gonzalez's parents. Now that pissed me off. But the fact that Jonathan Gonzalez didn't pick us, you know what? I just didn't care that much because I wasn't sure he's going to really amount to that big of a hill of beans in the first place.
Well, and at the time, he might have been a big contender for an improvement in our midfield at the time. But then he was seeing time with his team in Mexico. He was doing well there. And then all of a sudden, the next season, just nosedive.
Well, what happened is he had a meeting with the Mexican Federation, the manager. Yeah, Rongan. It's En. It's En at the end, not An. But thank you for.
I've heard it both ways.
I couldn't remember his name at all. So fuck. What am I complaining about? Thomas Rongan. And the thing about Jonathan Gonzalez and that whole situation is that he got lied to by the Mexican Federation and the manager of the Mexican national team. And that should have sent a warning to a lot of other guys who are going to have to make that decision down the road. They're going to make you promises. But how many Mexican-American players made the Mexican national team? All the guys that made the switches, are they on the team? Nope. No Araujo, a different Araujo, but not the one on LAG. So, yeah. At this point, I'm not that worried about any of this shit.
No.
I used to be super worried about it because when we lost Rossi, we didn't have another guy like him out there at the time. We really didn't. And, we had Josie, and that was the option for center forward, unless you want to go with Zardes, blah, 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 blah. But, at the time, Rossi seemed like a really good potential, future talent. But once he made his decision and he was honest about it, I'm just like, well, fuck it then.
Yeah.
He didn't lie to us. He never said he was going to play for us. So there's that.
Nope. He stuck to his guns. He pretty much said he was going to play for Italy, and that was that.
He never tickled her nuts and then pulled his hand away and said, that's all I got, baby.
Psych! Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right. What else we got?
Oh, I can't find that clip, but
remember, we're trying to keep the show an hour tonight.
Well, I think Chris Gary said, the shortest video ever. It's still probably going to be an hour and a half. So we had the winter vortex sweep through Central USA.
You mean Middle America?
Yeah, Middle America.
Midwest?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
There's a great side by side where the vortex looks like two boobs popping down to the Midwest.
Yeah.
And somebody had gone through and drew a picture of some anime character over top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the funniest thing I've seen in a long fucking time. But I can't find it right now. But I do have a video clip of we don't need the audio, so I'm not going to worry about that. Of Bills players just getting back from Chicago. And here they are digging out their cars. Like this.
It'll fall off.
Yeah,
it'll fall off. It's just 60 pounds of snow on top. It'll help us stick to the ground.
Exactly. Don't need to worry about sliding anywhere, man. No donuts in this car.
We are pressed. All right.
Goodness.
Any topics that we said we were going to talk about, but we didn't get a chance to? All right. There will be a young American joining Benfica next month. Only hint I'll give is that he is a pro-age player, not a 13 or 14-year-old academy prospect. Who might that be? A young American. Oh, Parks is going back to Benfica?
No. He might actually get a look at the national team at that point, if that's the case.
God, he might as well have just stayed there. Yeah. Well,
writing playing that entire time probably wouldn't have hurt his career any more than going to New York.
Yeah, he's been totally ignored, and has played well.
Shame.
Yep.
Shame.
Certainly would work in Greg's system better as a backup than Roldan. That's for sure. All right, what else we got?
We have a guess here. Somebody's guessing Adu.
Adu?
We have a probably Sullivan.
I think his grandma is Irish or something.
I know Derek is not Sullivan's number one fan. At least from that U20, U23 qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Benfica seems a little up there. I mean, look what happens when some of our guys go to Porto or Benfica. Keaton Parts
Porto too, right?
Ah, correct. Porto too. He didn't get to play much there either. What's his face? Help me out. Who was it? Porto too.
Oh, Soto.
Sebastian Soto. What a train wreck that guy is. All right. And I hate saying that about young players, but God, we got one guy in Club Brugge who is more focused on his modeling career than playing soccer. And we got Sebastian Soto, the arrogant of all arrogance. Just wherever he goes, the coaches hate him. And this has been the case wherever he has gone, starting in Germany. They hate this kid. I mean, hate. They dislike the qualities he brings to the team, attitudinally. How's that? That's a nice way of saying it. Don't you think, Brett? Instead of hate, the coaches, the managers dislike the behavior he displays attitudinally.
Somebody's guessing Cal, and we all know that Derek is not Cal's number one fan.
Kid Cal ain't going nowhere. He's an MLS lifer. MLS lifer.
We know that Alan Sonora is leaving, and we know that Joel's also a free agent at this point.
Yep.
But I know that Alan's been rumored heavily to go to MLS. Johnny Soccer's been rumored to be heading to Europe.
Good job for Johnny Soccer. Alan Sonora should go to Europe. It's too young. He's too young. Go try it now. Don't get buried in a 3-year fucking MLS contract. You'll be 28, 29 by the time you're out of there. Go try Europe now. If Joel can go do it and fail, so can you. Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't fail. There's that. Oh, I think Alan's has a higher ceiling than Joel, so we'll see. What else we got?
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna skip that one. Yunus Musa transfer situation.
And I hear no one's offered any more than 20 million so far. But Valencia want 40. So
40, yeah. And I know Peter Tack said that the range is about 20 to 40 million. So that's basically what you just said.
Yeah, nobody has offered more than 20 so far.
But look, there's some teams monitoring him.
Fucking I hate that. Stop saying that. Everybody's monitoring everybody. You might as well put Inter, AC, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Man City. Everybody's monitoring everything. That's what they fucking do. That's what they're paid to do. Quit putting that in tweets. Everybody's monitoring. That's called scouting.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone scouts. You think they just scout 5 players and that's all? No, they scout hundreds of players. So, yeah, other teams monitoring? Yeah, on their top 500 of people to monitor, he's probably on there somewhere. Ridiculous. Stop saying monitoring.
So, Duran, who's the Colombian, is rumored to be going to Benfica. Now, I guess this is jumping back to the last topic, but I guess I have to go back to see if they even said U.S. more to think about that.
I'm really surprised at his age that Roberto Duran is playing soccer at this point. To me, that's a mind blower. No Mas joke somewhere in there, but Brett does not know who Roberto Duran is, obviously.
Funny thing is, when he said it's Duran, I thought it was Duran.
I thought that too, but Roberto Duran is a very famous boxer who boxed Sugar Ray Leonard twice. And in one of the fights, he's famous for quitting the fight by saying no mas, no mas. He was middleweight champion of the world. I mean, he was fabulous, one of the best boxers in the world in the 80s and 90s. And he
Jose
was-
had it with you. He caught on to it.
All right, good to know. I know my boxing too. I know my F1.
Haas is in here.
No mas. All right, what do we got left here? According to several reports, Greg Berhalter's contract expires this week. Add the fact that we also have a U.S. men's national team camp in January. I'm assuming we will get some announcement next week in regards to the coaching job. Oh, I wouldn't assume that at all.
I wouldn't either. You'd be more likely to assume an extension on Berhalter's contract to cover at least that window. No, I would think that if anything, there's going to be an interim for a little bit.
There should be.
It's a Dave Sargent all over again situation.
I mean, I would like them to have made some moves and quickly hired, but they have gone into radio silence, so it's hard to know. And they don't tend to come out of radio silence until they want to, which could be up to a year of not telling us who the head coach is going to be. So, they work on their own time. It's called lazy ass time, and it's called U.S. soccer time.
Dude, what do they have to work up to? They have no reason to be in a rush right now.
No, not in
they
a
don't
rush.
worry about qualifying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like the new coach to have the entire cycle to start bringing players in, testing the waters, going where he needs to go, rather than say have the last 2 years to really just sort of fine tune it all or whatever. I'd like them to have the whole cycle.
That Moroccan coach was 3 months on the job when he took them to the semifinals.
Super Soccer is to apologize to your star players, play them, and put them in a position that's successful, rather than trying to force a system on you.
Yes, Greg, learn. Although Greg did adjust in the World Cup, we gave him credit for that when he did it. Also, what else do we have?
Let's just quickly see if there's anything pulling up here.
Normus Twats. Of course, that's Desi.
I appreciate the newest one. That's
we
great.
do. We like them all.
That's great.
We really do. When is by the way, if you've noticed that we gave an award this year for the person who tricked Pete into saying one of their names. So make sure you're going to watch Pete show on occasion and dropping a really good one on him.
Did you see the comment on that though? Somebody found the one that we were both thinking of, and it was the show after. It was the Saudi Arabia one, not the Japan one, where Pete was just like, Tech was like, "Oh, they got you again. I can't believe that." And Pete's like, "I don't care." he was a beaten dog at that point. He's like, whatever. If this gets your jollies off, congratulations.
Well,
that's the one I was expecting, but I was like, maybe I'm misremembering that. Maybe that never happened.
No, that did happen, and because I remember it now. And I think the funny thing is, Pete was in the middle of a really serious moment. And then Filippo's like, "Yeah, they got you again." He's like, "I don't care."
It was me off.
Yeah, there it was. Jack me off. Also pronounced Jack Mayoff and Jack Mahoff. Jack Mahoff. Jack Mahoff. All right, when is Dean Smith getting the sack for Norwich? I hope pretty soon if this continues. Maybe he played Sargent at center forward more. They'd be better. He did try it. He played 2 strikers today. He played a 4-4-2 at the beginning of the game. And it did not work out because their midfield is fucking dreadful and their left back and right back are fucking garbage. So
one thing is, this is the second year going on that we have both bitched about Aaron's.
Yes.
And what's even funnier is that the commentators make it a key every game that I get to watch them in championship, which is once every 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But every time the commentators, the pundits are always like, "Yeah, Aaron's has been there for 5 years now. He's been there for 2 promotions and 3 relegations." I'm like,
he's not good.
Great.
He's just very poor. He's the right back, right?
He's the right back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, if Pookie and Sargent don't touch the ball in the whole first half, you can't really do much because that's what they did.
32nd minute in. Whoever was doing the commentary for the show, the game, was like, "Yeah, it's taken 32 minutes for Sargent to get brought into the game." I'm like, Yes. There's a problem with that.
That is bad. It
That
reminded me a lot of. It reminded me of watching U.S. men's national team. But I do want to give a shout out to Ethan Horvath, who had a very good game and one fabulous save for Luton. That cannot. And now Luton looked really good today. So,
what's that guy's name who took that shot? Was it?
Oh shit!
It's not Saha, but
yeah, but I know. I know who you're talking about.
That was a rip.
It was a rip. Good save by Horvath. So Horvath having more good days and getting accustomed to not riding pine anymore. So we'll see what happens with him going forward. Anthem, Sargent, best bet is to play well for a move in the summer, maybe even January. I get it. I think that Sargent needs to continue to pop in a few goals here and there as the season goes on. However, to continue to remind people he's on top of the scoring table in the championship. If he falls off a cliff, he's not going anywhere except for wherever Norwich go, which is probably back to the championship for another season. But if he was scoring goals at the same sort of rate he was at one point in the season, he's gone. He's not staying in the championship. So people's memories are short. Scouts take note when you go through a drought. And I know that rhymes, but that doesn't make me a rapper. Scouts take
Slim Richie.
Scouts takes notes of the droughts. All right. So yeah,
Chicken Slim Richie. I like that. I think we found a new meme for you, Derek.
Yeah. No big deal there with Sargent, but he does need to keep scoring. And if he doesn't keep scoring, then he's not going to go anywhere. He'll be stuck at Norwich. I think
Jose says Sargent is right where he belongs. Let's take it easy.
Yeah, I mean, you if you're looking for someone to move from the championship to the Premier League, and if it's not with Norwich, because Norwich does not look like they're going to make the Premier League this season, then you're thinking about, well, what teams could he play for? Maybe promoted teams in the Premier League next season, but outside of that, who's going to take Josh Sargent? I mean,
I guess here's another question. I guess does he have to remain in England?
He has to remain prolific, but he doesn't have to stay in England. Wherever he goes, he needs to be prolific.
Let's say if he continues to score goals for Norwich don't make it the championship,
then he's good. He's good to go.
Let's say he remains in the championship. Let's say he gets offers in League or back in Bundesliga, perhaps.
No, more than likely, if he would finish in the top four scorers, one of the top four scorers in championship, he's going to be gone because he's young. Unlike Pookie, he's young. All right. Why do you think Mitrovic never got sold? I mean, Fulham knew they had a good thing. They were going to get rid of him just because they got dropped. They held on to him, and sometimes teams are going to want to do that. But at the same time, Mitrovic never would draw a fee because he's an older player. Not that kind of fee that a Sargent, a young striker, would if he were like one of the top 2 or 4, 5, 6 scorers. 4. Let's put it at 4 in the championship. Gladbach with Farka. Could be.
So here's one that always gets brought up too.
I know.
And then the follow up with CJ Ladd. We have Chuck. Says, is he better than Bamford?
Yes. Bamford? I think at this point in Bamford's career, he is. He's more athletic. He's more skilled. He's stronger and less apt to get injured. Bamford is a fucking physical wreck.
He's toast.
Mm-hmm.
Bamford's not working his way back on that roster.
No, I don't think at this point he will. He is a physical wreck, and he just cannot get 100%. Mm-hmm. And it's like watching John O'Brien for the year and a half in Holland, and then with U.S. men's national team, you just knew something was not right. He did not look like the same player anymore, and that's what I see.
Injuries do that to you.
That's what I see when I look at Bamford. He's still getting in the right spots, but physically, there's just something off.
It could just be mentally too,
and mentally.
Because I remember, speaking as one who has had a knee injury, and I know you've had knee injuries too.
Yep.
But Gooch talked about this. Like you could be fully healthy, he can be as strong as ever. But it's like 80% mental. That is like, if I make this cut, or if I try to turn this direction, is my knee gonna pop again?
Word for word what Gideon Zalalem said when interviewed about coming back from his injuries.
You're never when it comes to knee injury, if you're an explosive player, even I know Gooch wasn't necessarily explosive by any means,
no,
but you're still cutting and turning and trying to
twisting,
it's gonna fuck with your mind, because I mean, especially if you've had it pop a couple times before surgery and stuff. I had mine pop 3 times before I had surgery done, and I see people. Like when Sargent twisted his ankle, like I mean, that's an easy description as far as what happened in the World Cup. I mean, basically danced on his ankle.
Yeah.
But when that happened, I immediately grabbed my knee. I know it's not the same injury, but I'm just sitting there going like, ah.
No, but sometimes when you land awkwardly on your foot, it can pop a knee.
Oh, absolutely.
And at a weird angle. So when you're playing center back like Gooch does, you're doing a lot of twisting and turning, a lot of shit like that, which can lead to you becoming unbalanced and making a step that's going to bust something. So it's not just the fast guys that bust it, like spaghetti. That's the reason why spaghetti ligaments, dude.
Whenever we make talk,
Josh Scott.
Scott's a great example. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
What God, a player who survived his entire career primarily off of his pace.
Yep.
And just consistent season after season, pop.
I was reading his 40. Bad for the kid. I guess he did some 40s at one point before he got injured, and he was the fastest player in Scandinavia. Like all of Scandinavia, the Scandinavian teams. Yeah,
hands down,
the fastest player on the field in a straight 40. Really shame. I hope he's doing well. I know his wife had cancer. I hope she's better. I hope that all worked out. I don't know. I didn't follow the Gott story after he left MLS. I think he got cut.
No, after like the second or third knee injury,
I think he had another one. Yeah. All right. I think we're getting near the end here.
Yeah, you can tell there's not too many questions here.
Okay. But you already described this post earlier.
We talked about other things.
With all the talk about dual Nats going to Argentina, it reminds me of Giuseppe Rossi. Would he have been one of the great U.S. men's national team players ever? I don't know if he would have been the greatest one ever, but.
Well, you're also assuming that if he chose the U.S., if he chose the U.S., then maybe he wouldn't. His injury history, because that's the big downfall for him with Italy was that he was actually on the Italian national team, and he was playing and not necessarily as a starter per se, but maybe some starter here and there.
He got playing time, yeah.
Yeah, but then he's plagued by knee injuries again. The knee injuries.
Yeah, the knee injuries wouldn't have mattered actually. It wouldn't have mattered.
It'd be the assumption of if he played for the U.S., would he have been in the same situations, et cetera, et cetera? Who knows? But he still got the knee injuries while at the club. Would he play for Valencia?
No. Same team as Josie for a while. Yeah, Villarreal. So, and then he did go to Italy, and then he was out of the game for a whole couple of years. Then he did Real Salt Lake. He's on Real Salt Lake's team, MLS team. Last season, I don't know if he's still on the roster. The season, it was probably the season before.
So, I'm now for different types of injuries and everything, but I would rank if Rossi had chose to play for the U.S., it'd probably be more along the lines of the Charlie Davies. What could he have been, type of player?
Yeah,
if it wasn't for the injuries, what could he have been an all-star striker for us?
Because coming out of 2009, no one looked better as a center forward than Charlie Davies, and what he and Donovan and others were able to accomplish against Spain and Brazil and the Confederations Cup is lore.
And Josie was perfect.
Yeah,
that's who Josie needed.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the same situation. Like, what would he like? Because he probably still would have had the same knee injuries. Because again, the national team didn't have to play that factor in his downfall. And
John O'Brien, who we had on our show in 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
We talked to him extensively about his injuries and when he just knew this was it. This was never going to get that much better. Mm-hmm. And it basically changed the way he thought about playing soccer. He was never felt secure on the field about, okay, when is this going to pop again?
Yep.
And at that point, he's just like, and then it became a niggling injury that would never go away. Like something was always hurting. All right, now the Gapco is going to Liverpool. That removes one possible destination for Pulisic. He does not seem to have a logical landing spot. I don't know if you're going to have a super rational or logical landing spot, but Newcastle are on a high right now. They might take him up, and will he start every game for Newcastle? Probably not.
Well,
but
everything I've seen from Pulisic coming out of the Chelsea camp is Pulisic's been on a high. He's been enjoying himself, it looks like. Again, that's a couple of promo videos of like the pros playing with a bunch of kids and stuff like that, and there's a lot of joking back and forth between a couple of the players and stuff. But it looks like he's having fun there again. If he continues to not play for Chelsea, then that could be a factor.
There's no rush right now, right? There's no rush.
He's coming down to the last year and a half of his contract, so he's got the end of this season plus next season. Right. So if they're gonna aim to sell, if Chelsea's aiming to sell him
summer,
it's gonna be summer, and that kind of bodes well for him. Hopefully, that he probably gets some more playing time because they're probably gonna want to try to drive up his stock after the World Cup. Would be my guess.
Yeah, right now
earlier subs or whatever,
he's still good for depth. Although there are players on other teams that have proven maybe they might be good for depth too, who don't get to play on that team. Thinking mostly about the Moroccan guy. No. Anyhow, every promo video for Chelsea features Mount. He needs to exit stage right. They don't necessarily play the same position though, Dan W. I think Mount gets played at midfield as much as he gets played up top, and it with the new manager Potter, it is hard to say day to day what fucking formation they're going to play because it's changed about 100 times so far.
What was the name of that old cartoon? I don't know if it was a bear or not, but it's like exit stage left.
I don't know what it is, but I don't think he needs to exit necessarily. But there was a time during the Lampard time period where Mount and Pulisic got to play together, and that almost never happened this season.
He played Mount and Pulisic along with
Giroud up top
sometimes. But who's the striker that's now with Roma?
Oh, yeah, the big boy, starting with a B.
No, not Balotelli.
No. I know who you're talking about, the guy from Belgium. God damn it.
No, the English striker.
Up top for Chelsea?
Yeah, plays for Roma now. There you go.
Oh, Tammy Abraham?
Yeah. So
I don't remember him as much as. Well, I guess.
Yeah, he was quite successful at playing with Mount and Pulisic right behind him.
Yeah. All right. Fuck, marry, kill between Fred Baker, Colin Cowherd, Derek's old boss, and the turd. Fuck, marry, kill? I'm not fucking any of them. And I'm not marrying any of them. And I'm not going to kill any of them either.
Oh.
I don't kill. I don't do that. Not on purpose. I ran over a squirrel the other week. But it was his fault. He ran right.
Well, I feel like you have to kind of go with. I'll give Jose his due here since he came up with the question and everything. Fuck. I mean, the turd is clearly a good fluffer. So it seems to be
gross.
The obvious one. Well, I mean, come on, between the three, they're all going to be gross if you actually do it. So the turd, Mary. I've got to go with Colin. He seems like he would have a lot more money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then bye, Fred Baker.
Kill.
All
right. All metaphorically. Derek worked with Cowturd. I didn't. That's an ongoing joke. No, I did not. I worked with a lot of people, but not Colin Cowherd.
Somebody else at Snagglepuss. There we go. It's Snagglepuss. Exit stage left.
I love that cartoon when I was a kid. All right. Are we done yet?
Got a few more here.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You asked for the questions.
Greg Clownhalter says, hope you all had a very blessed, happy, and Merry Christmas. Thank you. Got to admit, this one has been a rough one for me. Last year, my dad died. Sorry to hear that, my friend. And now my ex-fiance left me all in the same year. Your ex-fiance left you. She's Oh, so you
You're probably
were.
going to leave off the X part. You could just say my fiance left.
Well, maybe they were going to get married, and then they said, "No, let's not get married," and then they split up.
They're saying formerly was my fiance, and then we split later on.
That you broke off the marriage part, but you stayed together, and then you broke it. But I would have said if you broke off the marriage part, you probably should just split up then. It's all catching up to me now. Sorry to hear it. Any advice on dealing with intense mental anguish? I guess I would say this, first of all, keep yourself busy. If it's not work, find some sort of something else you're really interested in right now. But whatever you do, don't just, I mean, some people say dive right back in the pool. I'd say take some time and reflect on it. Feel the pain a little, absorb some of the pain. You'll get over it eventually. It will pass. And then you get back to being you. That's what I would say you need to do. Get back to just being you. I know once you've, going to marry somebody and you've had a long relationship, it's hard to think that there are other fish in the sea, but trust me, there are other fish in the sea. So
isn't this the whole plot behind She's a Crown?
Yes, it is. It's the whole video is about that.
Yeah.
So I've gone through these kind of relationships, and guess what? It took me a fucking year to get over that, maybe longer. And I wrote a whole fucking album about it. So if you have another way to pour out your energy and your focus, do that. You don't have to make an album. I don't recommend it necessarily. It's a lot of work. But, do whatever you got to do to stay focused on and do something that makes you happy. If you get a new hobby, something that makes you happy, but then also make sure you just maintain. Don't lose confidence yet, unless you were the total reason the whole relationship failed, which you're probably going to think about. You're going to get time to reflect about, like, what could have you done different? Sometimes it doesn't matter. Two people just grow apart. It happens. Okay? I'm divorced. It happens. It's more complex than that, but yes. Hang out with friends. Go do something. Get out. Therapy beef curtains. Yeah. All right. Drink.
And then we have Bandit asking beef curtains. Is that a term for a vagina? Yes.
In particular, Hope Solo's vagina.
But yeah, Adam, that's I let Derek run up with that one. I think that kind of minus the dad passing, at least with the whole ex and everything like that, it'll hit a little close to home. So I feel like you had the better advice from on that than I would have had.
Yeah, hang in there, man. Mm-hmm. Keep distracting yourself with clown shit like this, but also find something you really seriously enjoy to do and do it outside of your job. Keep yourself busy, go hang out with friends and people who also are passionate about whatever thing you decide you want to pursue. And I think it's really important to pursue things outside of your job. Like I had a band, Brett and I had Brickyard Battalion. I wrote a book.
That definitely took your mind off shit, Derek.
It certainly fucking did.
I wouldn't advise starting a supporter group for a new club.
No, it's work. And then write a book. I wrote a book too. All these things are things you can do if you're passionate about it. I'm not saying you have to do those things, but pick things that you would be interested in doing. All right. Adam Wiggins says, thanks, guys. Thank you, Adam, for being here all the time. I really appreciate that. We love you. We love all of you, actually, for coming out here, especially on the 26th. This is an official fucking holiday. Jose Lopez, I felt this one. Same shit happened to me. It gets better. It does. It does. It sometimes takes longer, but than you'd like. But you'll get past it. God, just don't learn to play the guitar. Why not? I never really officially learned to play the guitar. I just fucking learned to play it on my own. I don't know any of the chords except for
plucking a chord. Bum, 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 bum.
No, I don't know when any of these chords are named. I just know E. I know E.
So I watch a guy on YouTube. he does a lot of gaming, but he also plays the guitar for people on Omegle, and his name's The Do. And people always ask him like, "Hey, do you have perfect pitch? Do you have perfect pitch?" He goes, "No, I have whatever regular pitch is basically where he can listen to the song and play it. He doesn't know the actual chords he's playing, but he can just pluck a note and then just start playing it.
Absolutely easy to do. Yeah. You don't need to all that writing it down shit. It's like saying you can't talk because you can't write. No, you can talk even if you don't know how to write.
I figured our music friend would love The Do. He's great. Derek, if you haven't watched The Do, go watch one of his videos. It's good stuff.
I will. I'll check it out after I'm done watching the Virgin next series of Virgin Rock.
Talk about how much she hates the color orange. What the fuck's wrong with her?
That was a little weird, but Jesse Negron. I always like pronouncing your last name for whatever weird reason. Thank you for the $1.99. What books would you guys recommend to read? Boy,
we are on different ends of the spectrum on this one. So
yes,
Derek, I'll let you go first.
All right, I'm going to recommend even if you're not even into history, go get Son of the Morning Star, or go on Amazon and get Son of the Morning Star. It's a book about Custer. And I know that doesn't sound very interesting, even though the Battle of Little Bighorn is pretty interesting. All right. It is an interesting thing. Like, what the fuck happened? No one survived it. At least the guys with Custer didn't survive it. But this is such a fascinating book about like just weird shit about him. Like how he just like even detailed weird shit. Like, oh yeah, he liked to wake up in the morning. He'd go over and find a fresh sprig of green onions or chives coming out of the ground. He'd cut them and he'd just eat them raw. It's like, oh, gross. But just a really fascinating story about the Old West.
Okay.
And
Derek, this is 100% you now.
And
you just run with it.
And
he loves history.
And the conflict between the Native Americans at the time and the settlers and Custer and what his job was, and the whole fucking scenario of fuck-ups that led to the loss and the slaughter at the Battle of Little Bighorn. It is fascinating. Just absolutely fascinating. Okay, there's my recommendation.
All right. I mean, he's a nonfiction and he loves history guy. So, like I was saying, that's definitely a you question there.
Son of the Morning Star. Look it up. It's well worth it. It's an award-winning book. I mean, anybody I've ever borrowed the book to, I had a hard time getting it back.
Here's some nonfiction suggestions by the chat.
All right.
Confessions of an English blow-up doll.
Yeah,
that's we have one. This is more fiction, I guess, but 50 Shades of Grey. Here's a nonfiction book for you.
The Kama Sutra. All right. Well, all good. I mean, I definitely check out the Kama Sutra again. I haven't seen that since where I learned about the Kama Sutra was in
India.
No, it's a play. It's a musical. Join the holy orgy, Kama Sutra, everyone. What is that? Oh shit! It's the hippie play / musical. It's the hippie one. You don't remember that one?
The hippie musical.
The hippie musical from the 70s. They had a whole record came out. Fuck. Anyhow,
Jesus Christ Superstar. How about that?
Well, that's one of them. This was the other one.
Oh, look at that. Jonathan had the same thing. Jesus Christ Superstar.
It's the other big one. It's
Hairspray?
Nope.
That's more 80s. Well, no, that's 70s.
That's 80s. Yeah, that's
70s.
Hairspray? Could be 50s too. A lot of Hairspray in the 50s.
Point, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's all hippies and shit singing.
In schools nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. It's all right. Lou Coutry. Derek, you and Brett have scarred me for life. At Christmas dinner, someone made a comment about me being in the bathroom too long, and I had to explain the difference between a good turd and a bad turd. Sorry, Lou.
Oh, man.
All right. I think that's it, folks. Yes. No.
Real quick. Two things. One last thing. Here it is.
There you go. Laughing out loud, even so in Spanish terms. His comment definitely looks looked some time of way. What?
Jose, was this translated from Google Translate? There you go. Even so, in Spanish terms, I'm guessing terms, his comment definitely looked some
time of way.
Kind of way. Type of way?
I don't know. You know, Loopy, I'll have to figure that out because that's weird.
There you go. Some type of way. So Tex says his dad pretty much confirmed he's not, or pretty much confirmed playing for US is unlikely. Hold on. He responded. You are wrong. Stop selling controversy with minors. Impossible to say where he'll play. I am from Argentina. My heart is there. His is 50-50. Okay, so I was right.
What do you mean you were right? I literally said that.
No. I literally said that.
Said what? What part did you say?
All of minus the controversy of minors. I didn't say anything about that. Impossible to say where he'll play, being that his options are still open.
We both said
he's
that.
From Argentina and his heart's there, yes. The 50-50 was understandable because we talked about duels. We've all talked about that.
So you wanna take ownership of that? I thought we both said that.
I'm taking it's mine.
God damn.
God, hold on. Let's see here. Doop.
What a credit Hoover.
Hold on. We're gonna go look at this. And we're gonna go. Come on now, pull up. Brett.
Jesus Christ. All right. Until the next time.
Right.
On the Straight Red Card. Make sure you like and subscribe. And thank you for showing up tonight on the 26th. It's the national holiday for most people. So, hey, hang in there with us. We're going to start playing soccer again. Club soccer's back on. We got Leeds on Wednesday.
We aren't going to play it, but
no, we're too old. But we'll be back on Thursday for another show. Thursday.
One last little thing. Derek and I really had to sit down time to go and get this, but we're going to be starting up playing FIFA 23.
Yeah, that was the plan. So we're going to go up and buy it
on the Xbox. So if you have an Xbox and FIFA 23, when we start playing, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, until the next time on the Straight Red Card, keep your boots on, and especially if you're walking through rough territory and terrain and mud, but also wear a wellie because sometimes it's just for fun. Good night.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!